Hi everyone, it is Achia here, Book Night with Achia. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. And today we have a anticipated releases video. I'm actually going to be talking about books that came out in the previous month, January, because there are 9 books here that I was super excited about going into January, and I wanted to share this list with you. Before we get started, make sure to check out my bonfire to get yourself some merch, as well as my Etsy shop to get yourself some bookmarks. Also, make sure to favorite the shop so that you are notified when stickers are listed, so you can get yourself some stickers as well. And if you're interested in supporting the channel on a monthly basis, make sure to check out the possibility of becoming a channel member or a Patreon member. We're going to jump right in, starting with the first week of January, and that was January 6th. And I have The Starseekers by Nicole Glover. This is the same author who did The Conductors, and this is actually in that same overarching series of Murder and Magic. So this is the 4th Murder and Magic book, and it says, I'm not reading this whole thing. Indiana Jones meets hidden figures in this brand new standalone historical fantasy set in the world of the Conductors, in which the space race of the mid 20th century will be determined by magic, if not murder. In the 1960s, the world has caught up in reaching beyond our planet and into the cosmos. Cynthia Rhodes, a brilliant arcane engineer at NASA's Ainsworth Research Labs, is talented in math and magic. She hosts a magical educational show, a job she took mostly for a chance to regularly see the dashing Theodore Danner, a professor of arcane archaeology. She is also an amateur sleuth, something that has run in her family for generations. When a cursed museum curator nearly interrupts a broadcast of their show, Cynthia finds an eager sleuthing partner in Theo. Pairing up, they begin investigating the strange behavior of the curator and a mysterious theft at the Arcane History Museum, until one of Cynthia's own co-workers perishes right in front of her in a major lab accident that endangers Ainsworth's role in the space race. And of course, they're certain that it was murder. The Starseekers is another rip-roaring adventure for the Rhodes family, who have been using magic to aid their community and solve mysteries since before the Civil War. The times may have changed, but a Rhodes once again finds himself thrust into a world of murders, theft, sabotage, and curses. And this time, the stakes extends to the stars themselves. Next up, we have some January 13 releases, and I have talked about this one because I was sent an arc of it a few months ago, and that is City of Others by Jared Poon. Dive into a world where magic lies hidden just below the surface in this charming urban fantasy full of workplace found family, queer romance, and supernatural creatures straight out of Southeast Asian lore from debut author Jared Poon. In the sunny city of Singapore, the government takes care of everything, even the weird stuff. Benjamin To is a middle manager in the Department for Engagement of Unusual Stakeholders, DEUCE, and his job is straightforward. Keep the supernatural inhabitants of Singapore happy and keep them out of sight. That is, don't bother the good, normal citizens, and certainly don't bother the bosses. Sure, he's overworked and understaffed, but usually people and senior management don't see what they don't want to see. But when an entire housing estate glitches out of existence on what was meant to be a routine check-in, Ben has to scramble to keep things under control and stop the rest of the city from disappearing. He may not have the budget or the bandwidth, but he has the best, if highly irregular and supernaturally inclined, team to help him. Together, they'll traverse secret shadow markets, scale skyscrapers, and maybe even go to the stars, all so they can just do their goddamn job. Before I actually head into the third book, if you're interested in seeing like what else, or not what else, because I'm sure I missed some, if you're interested in knowing more January releases that were put out by BIPOC authors, make sure to check out my Instagram, because every month I put out a BIPOC releases you should be looking forward to or adding to your TBR for that month. And my January post, I believe there's over 75 books on that list. And my February post is coming out soon, and you might see that one before you see a video, which will only have like maybe 12 out of all the different books that I have on my list to be looking out for. Moving on to a January 20th release, we have Wintree's Testify, Science, Wisdom, History, and America's Black Botanical Legacy by Beronda L. Montgomery. I have talked so much about this book because I talked about it in a book haul. I forget which one, but I did talk about it in my nonfiction that I want to get to in 2026. So make sure you check out that video because it's already out. I'm not going to read the synopsis because I have read it before in other videos, but basically this book is going to look at the botanical legacy that Black Americans, the descendants of the enslaved, have, particularly looking through specific trees. Yeah, exploring the way that 6 trees as well as the cotton shrub are intertwined with Black history and culture. And some of the ones that they mention are the poplar trees, which are historically associated with lynching, and willow bark, which has significant medicinal ties, and how pecan trees were actually domesticated by an enslaved African named Antoine, and sycamore trees are both havens and signposts for people trying to escape enslavement. I'm so excited to get to this one. I will probably end up reading it in March. I think that's my plan. But yeah, that dropped on January 20th. The next January 20th book we have is The Poet Empress by Shen. And it says, debut author Shen introduces readers to a lush, deadly world of The Poet Empress, a sweeping, epic, and intimate fantasy perfect for fans of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, The Song of Achilles, and She Who Became the Sun. In the waning years of the Azalea dynasty, the emperor is dying, the land consumed by famine, and poetry magic lost to all except the powerful. Wei Yin is desperate. After the 5th death of a sibling, with her family in the village on the brink of starvation, she will do anything to save those she loves, even offer herself as concubine to the cruel heir of the beautiful and brutal Azalea house. But in a twist of fate, the palace stands on the knife edge of civil war, with Wei trapped in its center, at the side of a violent prince. To survive, Wei must harden her heart, rely on her wit, and become dangerous herself, even if it means becoming a poet in a world where women are forbidden to read, and composing the most powerful spell of all, a ballad of death and love. Another one that I'm very much looking forward to. Then another January 20th release we have is I Don't Wish You Well by Jumata Emill. This is the same author as The Black Queen, which is one of my favorites. And it says, a teen investigative podcaster decides to dig into the truth behind a grisly murder spree that rocked his hometown 5 years ago, but soon discovers that this cold case is still hiding deadly secrets. Okay, it's pretty short synopsis, and also I like going into thrillers not really knowing much, so that's all I'm going to read for that. But I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, The Black Queen was chef's kiss. It really was. Then, moving on to January 27th releases, we have Sundown Girls by L.S. Stratton. This one is also like a little mystery thriller. In the tradition of Jordan Peele and horror phenomenon Sinners, a YA thriller about a Black teen whose fight for survival forces a small southern vacation town to face its dark history of racial violence. When 16-year-old Naomi Ward and her family head to a secluded cabin in Shenandoah Valley for summer vacation, they don't know the small mountain town of Sparksburg, Virginia, has a dark and twisted past. But when they arrive, Naomi can't shake the feeling that something about Sparksburg just isn't right. And it smells god-awful. But for some reason, Naomi is the only one who can smell the town's stench. When she learns Sparksburg had once been a sundown town, a town where Black people weren't allowed after sunset lest they be murdered, Naomi's unease starts to make sense. As Naomi digs more into Sparksburg's violent origins, she finds herself haunted by the ghost of a girl, appearing nightly outside her window. Then she learns of 2 girls who've recently gone missing and suspects the past may still be present in Sparksburg, and beneath the quaint facade of this tourist town is a palpable danger. Another one that I'm just like, yes. Then we have a sequel, and that is To Ride a Rising Storm by Moniquill Blackgoose. This is the sequel to, what is that called? To Shape a Dragon's Breath. And that one has dragons, it has dragon schools, it is a alternative historical steampunk novel following a Native American main character who her people have long since believed that a specific type of dragon was extinct or no longer, part of this world. She finds a dragon egg, and they have a deep respect for people who can bond with dragons. And so, in order for the colonizers to not have any grounds to take the dragon away and kill it, she ends up going away to this essential like dragon school with the colonizers so that she can learn everything so she can keep her dragon. And there's political intrigue. I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite books of 2025. So I am very, very hyped for this sequel and to see what happens next. Then we have The Great Disillusionment of Nick and Jay by Ryan Douglas. I know that this is a Great Gatsby retelling, and I am so here for it. It is a queer Black Great Gatsby retelling, and here we are. The Great Gatsby meets the Harlem Renaissance in New York Times bestselling author Ryan Douglas's fresh 1920s Black reimagining of a popular classic, where in a society built on cruelty and secrets, Gatsby and Nick must decide whether to spend a lifetime outrunning trouble or be the ones to light the match. 17-year-old Nick Harrington wants nothing more than to leave Greenwood, Oklahoma behind and make a name for himself in the papers. But when tragedy strikes, dreams turn into a twisted reality. Forced to start anew in Harlem, only a letter of acceptance from the prestigious West Egg Academy is able to pull him back into the world. But the supposedly integrated private boys' school is more of a catchy headline than a fact, with the same prejudices Nick left behind back home. And his secret but growing feelings for the founder's wickedly charismatic son, Jay Gatsby Jr., who dances past society's conventions with practiced ease, only adds more complications. When Nick's cutting pen exposes dangerous truths about West Egg and leads to perilous consequences, he and Jay must decide whether to spend a lifetime outrunning trouble or be the ones to light the match. Can they not only fight back, but triumph? Or will the powers that be win yet again? Then the last book on this list is going to be It Lurks in the Night by Sarah Daas. This is the same author as It Waits in the Forest, which I was pleasantly surprised by. Did I read that last year or the year before? Read it in 2024 and thoroughly enjoyed it, so I'm very excited for this one. From the author of It Waits in the Forest comes Sarah Daas's next standalone supernatural thriller, a lush and evocative tale of the rot that grows at the heart of even the most beautiful places. Perfect for fans of Angeline Woolley and Tiffany D. Jackson. All Maya Woods wants is to reunite her three best friends, Pearl, Erica, and Lystra, for one last epic boat trip to the islands around their Caribbean home before they all graduate from high school. But the girls are forced to make an emergency landing on Anato, an island avoided by locals and tourists alike because of the rumors of monsters and shadows that lurk in its depths. And their yearly tradition descends into darkness as Erica turns up dead and the girls are forced to leave her body behind. What? Okay, I'm not going to read anymore. I wasn't expecting that twist. That's a little wild. Okay. But yeah, no, those are the 9 books that I am super hyped about that came out in January. Make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. If you're interested, we are reading the second book in the Indian Lake trilogy, Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones in the Bibliophiles Unite Discord. So if you're interested in joining us for that, make sure to check out the links below. Check out all of my social media, my bonfire, my Etsy. And if you're interested in supporting the channel on a monthly basis, you can consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon member. And I will see you in another video. Bye. Weakness showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me.